Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 18th year on the air covering the Mid-South. We appreciate all you listeners in Brownsville, Tennessee on 1520 AM and 95.3. And, of course, News Talk 101.5 in Jackson. And, of course, right here in Memphis, Tennessee on ESPN 790 on every Saturday morning. Being the fourth Saturday of the month, that means that Ron Wong is, well, he's technically not with us, but he is with us in voice. Ron's up at Grizzly Jig in Caruthersville for their big spring, as they call it, bonanza with every crappie thing you can talk about. And Ron mentioned in there also about some catfishing. But we're going to talk a little bass fishing right now. And I recently got a press release from our good folks at Major League Fishing, and I appreciate Bailey McBride and Roy Canidi setting this thing up with this young man that's getting ready to come on with us, because when somebody covers a bass tournament, no one does it like Major League Fishing. Right, Ron?
Nobody, yeah,
Nobody.
Absolutely.
and
it's pretty amazing. And you know what's really amazing, Larry, is, you know, we now have a third top-level professional bass tour and tournament trail that is really, really exciting because of the format, because of how much coverage is going to be on it, not only for TV, but everybody carries a smartphone. You're going to be able to watch from the time they blast off on the first day all the way through the final weigh-in. It's pretty amazing.
And it's called MLF Now is what they've got, and they've put together a great team of broadcasting team. And we got one of the young anglers right now that's getting ready to start this baby off. It's time to do it. You think, and you know they're not going to be fishing in Michigan right now. They're in Florida, Toho, up down in Florida, and we have Zack Birge on with us this morning from Blanchard, Oklahoma. Hey, good morning, Zack.
Good morning. I appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks, buddy. Let's talk about Major League Fishing and what it means to you to be part of that 80-man entry group.
You know, I'm extremely fortunate to have gotten an invite. You know, I'm not near as established as pretty much the majority of the guys that are in the league now, and you know, my career is very short compared to most of them, so I have a lot of things to catch up on and try to prove to myself and everybody else is you know, is just being able to hold my own and compete with these guys. So I'm very fortunate to be able to fish against them at my age and what short career I've had.
Well, buddy, so it means, in other words, that you're probably going to be fishing with some of your heroes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And
pretty much all of them.
Yeah, when you look over and you see somebody that you've been following all your career, how do you prepare for this, Zach? Give us an idea of how you got ready for this Major League Fishing. You sound like that you're determined to do the best you can. So talk about that from your standpoint as being 28 years old, from Oklahoma, former college student, and things along that line. And you look across in the next boat over, and you see all these TV cameras and drones flying over your head and everything like that. Talk about this tournament coming up.
Man, you know, it could be pretty intimidating if you think about it the way you just described it.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to.
No, that's what I'm getting at. My point is, you know, at the end of the day, you just have to catch fish. It doesn't matter who is on the other side of the pocket from you or who all the names are that they're fishing against. You just have to be able to catch fish, and this deal, catch them quick and catch a bunch of them, which kind of goes back to the way that I kind of like to fish. You know, I started off fishing with buddies in high school and middle school and stuff, and fishing farm ponds around the house, and went into college. And I've always had a mindset of trying to play the numbers game rather than just fishing for 5 fish. And I may catch, I want to go out and I may catch 25, 35 fish, on a day, but on average, I feel like if I can catch numbers, the percentages of you catching a good fish is there, rather than just going out and dragging a football jig and trying to catch you 5 big ones. That's not how I've taught myself how to fish. I've always had that mindset. I'm going to go catch as many fish as I can catch today, and hopefully we're going to catch a few good ones. You know, and I hear a lot of people talking about this is going to be a 1-pound fish club, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's really not the case. This is guys going out, and they're going to fish as hard as they can fish all day long. And they're going to catch as many fish as you can catch. It doesn't matter if it's a pound, 1 ounce, or
that's right,
6-pounder or a 10-pounder. You're gonna fish for them. If they're gonna bite, they're gonna bite.
Yeah.
And we're gonna weigh them all and put them all
Zach,
back.
Zach, you fish with the same philosophy that I have. I believe in quantity because with quantity comes quality. You're going to catch a big fish eventually.
Correct.
Well,
and when you go down to Toho now, man, you're fishing the Kissimmee chain in its very first tournament. Are you looking to find the numbers of fish there where you can go and try to catch 20, 30 fish a day? Or are you trying to look to see
big fish
where the bigger fish are moving?
Yeah.
Well, with what practice we have, which is basically a day and a half.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm not extremely familiar with this chain. I fished my very first tour event there ever a few years back, and
did you really?
I think I finished 13th or something like that. I had a pretty good tournament with a pretty poor practice, but I learned a lot about the place while I was there. I haven't been back since, but every year we've come back to Florida, so I've learned a little bit more each year. So with that being said, I'm still going to play the numbers game, but throughout practice, if I get a big bite somewhere and I'm going to mark a waypoint and remember where that fish came from, and hopefully there's several more around there. At some point during the day, I can swing in if I'm close and fish it for a little bit, or maybe hit it multiple times and get another 1 or 2 of those bigger bites in an area. But overall, I'm looking for areas that I'll be able to catch as many fish as I can catch, areas that have, a higher percentage of bites and more of those throughout the day.
Well, I know that when you got the call, let's talk about that. You've done pretty well at FLW in 4 years. I mean, I would say $400,000 in winning is pretty good. $100,000 a year, I could live on that. I think. And you got your little Emma there and your wife Christina. Emma, I know, is your big fan. Someday we'll know what her daddy's doing. But does this set up are you living the dream? I got to ask you that. I mean, to be part of this.
Oh, absolutely. Ever since I remember sitting in class as clear as day. I would sit in class in school, and I would just read magazines, and I would just think, all I want to do is get out of here and go fish behind my house, go fish at the pond. Couldn't stand being in school. I just wanted to go fish. And
you my man.
I got to live that through college. I got to live it through FLW for several years, and when I got the call with the invite to fish this, it was just another opportunity to continue a dream that I've always had.
Well, you got you got the dream there, and coming up in Southwest Oklahoma, I'm assuming you got to fish certain areas over there and learned about. So what age did you determine that you wanted to be a professional fisherman? How old were you?
It probably wasn't until maybe I was a senior in college or a senior in high school or a freshman in college that I really wanted to do it. I've always wanted to, but I didn't really think it was something that was possible. I always thought I was going to have to go to work like most other people, have to have a real job. And
you do have a real job.
This essentially it's a real job, but it's one I love going to and being able to do it day in and day out.
Well, I've heard.
Hey, Zach, just a question here. A scoreable bass is a bass that weighs 1 pound versus having to measure a 12-inch fish, 15-inch fish, whatever size. in terms of
Yes,
length. What's your feelings about that? Aren't you happy about being able to just weigh a fish and be done with it and move on?
Oh yeah, it's so much easier. You don't have to fill up your live wells. You don't have to worry about fish care. You just simply catch the fish, weigh it, and release it immediately. And your weights are, depending on the day, your weights continue or when you get to a cut point, you're done. So it's much better overall as far as fish care goes and fish health, and for us to just be able to weigh them and release them and keep trucking.
Well, I know everybody. We've got a couple of minutes here, folks. Again, I want to recognize Zack Birge, and we appreciate being him, but I want to recognize that this is going to be a well-televised circuit. I can tell you that. The 8 Bass Pro Tour events will be roughly 40 hours of live stream content that will be followed on the MajorLeagueFishing.com. You folks, it's going to have the great coverage. When I saw MLF Now, those kind of things. So you're not going to miss much. And, Zack, we really appreciate you taking time before the tournament. Buddy, we got your number. We'll stay in touch. We do a lot here in Memphis, and I know a lot of folks are going to learn a lot more about you in the coming years. So we don't believe in luck. Just go get them, okay, buddy?
I sure appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right.
We'll see you down the road, buddy.
All right. Zack Birge. Okay. Fine young man, sounds like. He's got his...
No, he really is. I've had the opportunity to meet him on stage before at one of the FLW events. As a matter of fact, he had qualified for one of the Forest Wood Cups.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
where I had met him.
Yeah, okay.
He's a super fisherman. He's going to do
focused.
well. He's going to represent the younger generation very well. Very well-mannered, excellent person.
And a communicator. And speaking of communicator, we're going to switch gears after this break, come back, and we were only going to get to talk to her for 5 minutes 2 weeks ago, and I said, Melinda Hayes, we can't talk to you for 5 minutes, girl. We got to have a whole segment on you. And so we're going to come back after this break and talk to one of Ron's and my favorite female anglers.
Absolutely.
And that's Melinda Hayes out of Sheridan, Arkansas. We'll be right back.